All right, hey everybody, Mark Burgess here, Big East Bass Fishing. I appreciate you really taking the time out to watch this video and all the videos, really, for that matter. If you can, do me a favor, please like it, share it, follow it, subscribe to the YouTube channel. I greatly appreciate it. It helps me out quite a bit. So thanks again for all your support. So today, I thought I would continue with the series that I just started, Tackle Management 101. Okay, so the last video I showed you how I categorize my baits, the three different buckets, if you will, three different piles. First bucket being baits that you've gotten bit on that have actually been in a fish's mouth, you've caught bass on them. Baits that are still like on deck, in the queue, you have confidence in them, but they haven't proven themselves yet. And then of course the baits that no matter what you've done, they just didn't get it done for you, and they've never been in a bass's mouth, they've never gotten bit, and those are the ones that you want to move away from. Okay, so you donate those, whatever you want to do. So that being said, you have to have first to have tackle in order to categorize it. Okay, so first things first, cart before the horse, if you will, so to speak. I thought I'd go over the different types of bait categories that you're going to need, and that's quite involved. I mean, there's thousands of different baits on the market. The different categories, you can that boils down to a few that we're going to talk about. So we're going to continue on with the series, and today I'm going to talk about soft plastic colors. Now, I've done some stuff on this before, but I'm going to go into a little bit more detail with you. Okay, so I'm going to tell you the why behind the color. So we're going to start off with basically, you can see here in front of me, you know, a few different style baits that I use that you're going to need in the way of soft plastic. Okay, so I have some creature baits over here. I have some jig trailers here. So these are basically chunks. I have some drop shot worms here, and I have stick bait. Okay, so we're going to start with the stick bait, but as you can see, there's a lot of consistency in the colors of these soft plastics. Okay, so what I want to explain is, you know, there's a lot more colors than this on the market. Okay, we've all seen them. If you've been to Bass Pro or any tackle shop or gone through any catalog online, there's thousands of colors. Okay, so I'm going to try to really boil that down for you so that you don't have to burden yourself with that many color baits. Okay, so when you're deciding what color baits to buy or what color baits to use, first of all, it comes down to water clarity, you know, light penetration, and the thickness of the cover that you're fishing. Okay, so that being said, watercolor, you can basically break that down into clear water, stained water, muddy water. Okay, sky conditions, obviously sunny, cloudy, cover, very loose cover, very dense cover, like for example mats, like floating vegetation. Underneath that, it's very dark. Okay, so it could be a bright sunny day, but underneath that mat, it's very dark color. Okay, so that's kind of how it breaks down with that. So in clear water, it only comes down to a few colors. Okay, and why? First of all, in clear water, I like to match the hatch, natural colors. Okay, and that's gonna bring up green pumpkin, you know, watermelons, clear type style bait, translucent style baits. Okay, so what are they? You know, green pumpkin, watermelon, to name a few. If you come over here to, you know, this is my stick bait box, and these are either a Cinco or a Yum Dinger. Those are the two brands that I throw, and there's a lot of different manufacturers of this bait. This bait essentially just really transformed plastic baits. When this first came out, if you were in that inner circle, I mean, this was just phenomenal. This style of bait right here would just get bit over any other style bait in any situation, okay? And essentially, if you're throwing a Senko style bait or a stickworm style bait, which is basically, they go 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 7 inches long, blunt end on the top, pointy end in the back, little hook slot. There's a section here where it's not ribbed, it's just a flat area where it could simulate like an egg sac for a worm. If you threw this bait and it made it to the bottom and you didn't get a bite, there was not a fish there. Absolutely 100%. Okay, that's just how successful this bait was when it first came out and still is. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about it here. This is one of those baits that if you're really struggling with what bait to throw in any situation, confused at all by that, right here, this bait right here, this style bait right here will get you bites. Okay, so different ways to rig it. We'll kind of go into that right now. A number of different ways. Wacky rig. Most of us know what that is, but if you don't, basically it's just a short shank hook, circle hook type hook that's hooked more or less in the middle of the worm. And you can use, there are little rubber bands or elastics that you can put on your bait to hook around, but you can go right through the bait. So essentially that's a wacky rig. Okay, and these hooks are labeled wacky rig, so you'll be able to buy them. Okay, so that's wacky rig right there. You would throw this on a spinning rod, 8-10 pound test line, in open water areas. Say 8 feet, I was gonna say 5 feet, but 5 to 8 feet or less in water depth with sparse cover. Okay, again, it's exposed hook. Now you can buy these hooks with little weed guards on them. So this bait, you could skip this bait up underneath low hanging brush or up underneath the dock or something like that. And you'd have a pretty good chance of getting it back. So that's wacky rig. All right, you can also Texas rig this hook. Use a Texas rig hook on this bait. And essentially just like any worm, you start at the top, put it straight down. I like to go into where it starts to bend. You come out. Okay. Basically you turn the hook. Boom. I like to even have the knot disappear in the head of the bait. So your knot will disappear like that. Keeping straight. It's very important to keep this straight. Mark where the hook bend meets the bait with your thumb. Go straight in for the bottom, straight up like that. Last thing you want to do, just pinch it back so the hook is completely buried in the plastic like that, making it weedless. Okay, so you can fish this weightless just like this. The hook is going to add a little bit of weight obviously, and it's going to sink down like that. But you can also put a little 1/8, 3/6 ounce bullet weight on it as well. For a little bit deeper water, now you're 8, 10, 12 feet deep, you can fish this bait. Okay, so you have all those water columns that you can fish with this bait. You can also put it on a drop shot, okay, as well. This is a little drop shot hook. All right, you can do that as well. So this will be drop shotted. A lot of people do that. And lastly, it's called a Neko rig. You basically take a nail, put it in the head of the bait like that. And of course, a pair of snips, you can manipulate the size of the nail all you want. We'll leave it sticking out there just for demonstration purposes. You stick the nail in there. This happens to be a weedless Neko hook. All right. Now, it's kind of a cross between Texas rig and wacky rig. Throw this, and it's not quite in the middle. It's towards the end of the worm, but that nail weight is going to bring it down to the bottom and have just a complete, like a stand-up look to it. All right, that gets a lot of bites. That will get you a lot of bites. Okay, so that's pretty much a weightless, a stick bait rigged, weightless Texas rig with or without a weight, drop shot, Neko rig. Okay, so if you're looking for a bait just to get started, this right here will get you a lot of bites in a lot of different situations. Okay, so staying with that clear water, colors like watermelon, any versions of these, watermelon red flake, green pumpkin blue flake, green pumpkin gold flake, anything natural like that in clear water is what you want to throw. Now, when you start getting into a little bit stained water, that's where you can bring in a little bit of color. Like I have green pumpkin gold flake, watermelon gold flake, watermelon red, watermelon purple. A little bit of color, a little bit more flash to get the fish's attention in slightly stained water. Now, when it comes to unstained water, okay, not clear water, we're talking dirty, muddy water. That's when your blacks, black, straight black, and black blue. That's where I throw those colors, and that is basically consistent with all my soft plastics. If you take a look here at basically my drop shot box, a lot of variations of green pumpkin. I do have a June bug in here, which is more, geographically thrown in, say, in Florida, some tannic colored water. But for the most part, it's watermelons, green pumpkins, and variations of those baits. My jig trailers, this is a box of chunks I just happened to pull out just to show you. Again, watermelon, black flake, green pumpkin, black flake. Here's a watermelon gold flake, watermelon with gold and black flake, straight green pumpkin, and of course, our blues, okay? Very, very successful color. Creature baits, same thing, green pumpkin, a June buggish color, watermelon. This is called neon. This is a black red flake, and I have black and blue as well. Again, these darker colors are for dirty, muddy water, and these colors, the reason they work is they contrast. They have a lot more contrast in that dirty water. Fish can see it a lot better. Okay, so that's really preferred, especially if it's sunny, dirty water, sunny, even better. Clear water situations, again, go back to your watermelons, green pumpkin hues. The other one is white. There's always an exception to the rule. White, I've talked about this before. Again, this white is a great bed fishing color because you can see it as well. But fish obviously will relate to this too, but bait fish and so forth all have white bellies. Good trail, swim jigs, things like that. You can pair that up with a white trailer. All right, the last thing I want to talk to you about too before we move on, and again, moving forward, I'm gonna talk about hard baits. I'm gonna talk specifically about square bills, shallow running crankbaits, -1s, wake baits, rattling baits, lipless baits, top water, spinner baits, chatter baits. I'm going to go through it all in this series of Tackle Management 101. Okay, so this is just the first one. A little bit long-winded, but I hope it helps you out. The last thing I want to mention is, if you're looking to get bites, you pick up just a small jig, This is an Arky head style jig, green pumpkin, a very natural skirt, you know, brown watermelon, green pumpkin, black flake, paired with a green pumpkin twin tail trailer. Okay, so this is 1/4 ounce, very light. You can cast this with a spinning rod. You're gonna probably bump up into like 10 to 12 pound test fluorocarbon. Or if the water's off color, you can go with like a 12-pound braid direct to this, especially if it's heavier cover, dark shady under a dock, 12-pound braid. You can skip it up under there, or fish it on open water, like I said, with a 10 to 12-pound test fluorocarbon. And this will also get you a lot of bites. Between these two baits right here, you're looking to get started, these will get it done. All right, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the complete series. I'm gonna go right through all the bait categories and tell you the why, the how, the what colors, what styles, where to fish them, how to fish them, line, pound test line to throw them, all of that. All right, thanks for watching, and we will definitely see you on the water.